Steve Conoscenti brings us a brand new documentary, which is a Peacock original called Bray Wyatt Becoming Immortal. Now, as a big wrestling fan, I was very intrigued to check this out, and by the end of it, I was almost shedding tears. Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome to the channel and thank you so much for checking out this video. If you're not subscribed as already, please feel free to do so. Plenty of content here on the channel and expect to see a lot more videos from me. But in the meantime, I appreciate you checking out this review. Now I'm going to keep this relatively spoiler free because it has only just come out today as I'm recording this review, and I don't want to really spoil it for you guys. But if you are a wrestling fan by now, you will know who Bray Wyatt was. If you don't know about Bray Wyatt or who this person was, he is a professional wrestler who used to wrestle in the WWE before his passing in around August-September time of 2023, but real name of Windham Rotunda. Now I'm going to start this off and say that I am a huge wrestling fan. I always have been since being a little kid, and I still am until this day. Now I don't think Bray Wyatt was the best wrestler ever to exist in kind of the modern era or in general, but he was a great wrestler. He was a very innovative mind. He was an artist, and he was also a unique wrestler that we don't get very often. So going into this documentary, I was intrigued how they were going to explore that, what they were going to touch on, and how this documentary would be set out. The good news is, I'm going right into the positives because I have pretty much mostly positives, maybe one or two few nitpicks which we'll get into, but mostly positives is I love how this documentary was set out. This runs for about 2 hours and 2 minutes. I didn't feel a drag at any point, and I also love the fact how they actually layered this. For example, we start off with Windham Rotunda as a young child, and how his dad, Mike Rotunda, otherwise known as the IRS, who you guys may know if you're kind of old school wrestling fans, the love for that element of the portion was great because it showed him as a young kid watching his dad on TV, getting inspired by him, and one day thinking, you know, I want to go and do that, right? And that alone was great. So they centered on that, spent about maybe the first 20 minutes or so on that element, and then we start to see throughout this documentary, which was great, archival footage from WWE which has never been seen before. And I thought, wow, that's great. To see footage as a fan that we've never seen before is exhilarating because you want to see the behind the scenes. You want to get a little bit of more of a look into the life of Bray Wyatt, Windham Rotunda, Husky Harris, The Fiend, whichever character that he played. You want to learn more about that. So again, we get through a little bit more narrative, and we also get a lot of people speaking throughout. We get Mike Rotunda, we get his mum, I believe Stephanie, I believe her name was. We also get Micah, who is his sister. We also get his brother Taylor, who is Bo Dallas in the WWE. We get them talking, but we also get a long list of WWE superstars talking as this goes on. But I also think that this is really cool narrative-wise, which is done by Mark Calaway, who is also known as The Undertaker, who is probably the most distinctive character in wrestling history. In my personal opinion, I don't think you're ever going to get to that level of The Undertaker, but Bray Wyatt was definitely a solid entry in that list of very unique characters you'll get like once in a lifetime in wrestling and show business for that matter. So as the documentary kept playing out, I loved hearing from WWE superstars like Becky Lynch, Sami Zayn, Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, LA Knight, and many, many more. And they were just telling like their side of the stories, or what he was like, or how they worked alongside with him, and how he would inspire them, and some of the behind the scenes through the pandemic area, or through certain elements where he would be having his first WrestleMania match with like John Cena, etc. It was just so great to hear all these different perspectives and a lot of appearances by stars to just talk about Windham Rotunda and talk about how a beautiful person he was. And this documentary definitely made it out to be that he was that. I'm not saying he wasn't, I didn't know him, but he definitely generally seemed like such a sweet, caring guy who just had a passion and love for what he did. And that just gave me a bit more of an appreciation for the Bray Wyatt character itself. I also really like the structure, as I mentioned in this documentary, because it starts from him as a kid and it goes all the way up until his death towards the end, which of course builds a picture and a timeline of how we get from this place to here, of course. But it was never like any big flashbacks to back in the day or like time jumps all the time. It was all just one solid flow narrative of a timeline, and I really appreciate that. And I've been screaming for documentaries to do that and not go into flashback as kids, then into present, then back to childhood and back to present. They actually just got rid of the kind of kid stuff right at the beginning, which is important, and led up right until the end. So I really appreciate that, and bravo Peacock Originals, because you smashed it out of the park with that, along with the directing and also being executively produced by Paul Levesque, who is also known as Triple H. Now, if you're wondering, okay, well, Mike, have you got any nitpicks with this documentary? You know, what could possibly be wrong with it? I would say I have one. These WWE superstars that appear, like Sami Zayn, Braun Strowman, Becky Lynch, etc., they don't really get time to tell like some personal stories about Windham. So, for example, I read up on an article online where Becky Lynch actually told a story of how Windham Rotunda spent a full day with her and setting up tables for like a table match or a TLC match that she was actually going to have at the event, even while he was getting ready for his own match. Now that is a cool story, and also gives you a little bit more of a personal insight into Rotunda as a person. And that would have been cool for like Becky Lynch just to get a few minutes just to tell that story, because those personal stories give us fans more insight as to what he was like outside of being a character and outside of hearing from his actual, like, you know, round family. But from hearing from maybe like friends, colleagues, and like superstars, and you know, that would have been more cooler. But we don't really get that, and I would have liked even just a few stories from a few particular individuals who knew him really well, who spent a lot of time with Windham. We don't get that, which I just think was a little bit of a miss. Overall, this documentary as a whole, I think is a beautiful story. It is a very fascinating watch, and it is also one that I would recommend any wrestling fan to check out. Now, if you're not a wrestling fan, I still think that you could enjoy this. I still think that you would really find something from this documentary, but especially if you're a wrestling fan, definitely seek this one out. So I'm going to give Bray Wyatt Becoming Immortal a 4 out of 5 stars. Have you checked this out? Are you going to check this out? Is this for you, or is this not for you? Well, let me know down below in the comment section so we can continue discussion down there. Please give this video a big thumbs up. If you haven't already, feel free to subscribe to Patreon. That's right, I've got memberships starting from £2 per month. Big thanks to all these awesome legends who subscribe to Patreon, who are members and who are reaping benefits and rewards of early videos, exclusive videos, and so much more. Feel free to join today. But in the meantime, check out my content over here that you may have missed or may not have seen yet onto the channel. And until the next time that I see you guys, I'll be seeing you later.